Hey guys, it's that time again. I've been the car boot sale the last, well, about 3 weeks actually, but there hasn't really been anything there after the new year. It's just been quiet. I've found a few computers down there. There was nothing of any interest to me, so I didn't bother. And then last Sunday, so I mean it's Thursday now, so 4 or 5 days ago, I was down there and I didn't find any computers, but I was just walking past one of the stalls and there, sitting on the ground, was this. And I kind of thought, in the local slang of where I come from in the UK, Stoke-on-Trent, I thought, hey up, what's that? Well, I know what it is actually, but hey up. And it's a 386. I knew straight away it was going to be an early 486 or a 386. So it's a PC Chips motherboard, which I don't think were a very good brand really. And I know at some time in the 90s we had a big scandal with cash chips with nothing inside them, just plastic bodies with legs on and nothing in them. But this predates that. So this is a M for mother, M321 revision 2.7, and these boards are known of. I mean, I had a look on the internet, did a search, and there was quite a bit on Vogons, which is a very good forum if you're into retro gaming hardware. Vogons, I mean, I know that you get the name from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but on this Vogons, it's very old games on new systems, and I think it was originally to how to get old PC games run on modern machines, but it's got a very strong community and the general hardware. There's a lot of people on there who know about this hardware and very knowledgeable. So if you were interested in retro hardware or you have any questions, Vogons, Vogons forum, go on there. So I had a look. It's on there, and I had a look on eBay, and I found a few of these on eBay with or without the CPU. This has, well, let's zoom down and let's see exactly what it has. This has a 386 DX40, which might have been about the fastest you got in 386s. I mean, I know on the 486s you had like DX266 and such like. But I think that's probably one of the, if not the fastest of the 386 processors. With these, the DX specifies whether or not it's 16 or 32-bit, I think. And I'm pretty sure that's right. Whereas on the 486, the DX had a maths coprocessor and the SX didn't. And I'm sure on these, the SX is 16-bit, this is 32-bit. So the empty socket here, this is for a maths coprocessor, would go in there. And it's got 4 SIMs, these are before DIMMs, guys, before dual inline memory modules. We had single inline memory modules, and these were normally 1 megabyte, yeah, not 1 gigabyte, 1 megabyte, or 4 megabyte. And this has got 4 of them in. And on a 32-bit machine, you had to fit 4, so you'd put 4 times 1 meg, or 4 times 4 meg. You couldn't do anything else. That was your only 2 options. Or if like you were really wealthy and the board had 8 slots like this one, you could have 8 times 1 meg or 8 times 4 meg. But I don't remember seeing a PC with like 32 meg of RAM then. But yeah, those of us had some money. We put 4 4s in there and we'd have 16. Or we'd have 8 1s, we'd have 8. So yeah, the RAM's on it. And it came with this thing, and first of all, I'm sure this doesn't belong in here because it. First of all, it's got 1 pin less than the slot has in here, yeah. And these are 8-bit ISA slots, and these are 16-bit ISA slots down here, yeah. And this was just stuck in the back end of this one, and it looks like, well, this looks like an IDE. Well, there's enough connectors on it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I'm not sure there are actually. Let me just count them again. How many there is? There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. No, there's 34 connections. That's like a floppy drive cable. Well, quite why it was stuck into one of these, I don't know. It's obviously got like a key, so it's obviously meant to go somewhere. Help, guys. John, I think you John Chapman, you my resident PC vintage guru, I think. Or anybody else, yeah, do anybody know what that is? Can anybody tell me what that is? So this is the oldest motherboard I've yet to find at the car boot sale. I had a 486 complete with PCI graphics card, an ISA sound card and an AT power supply. And I also had a 386 DX40 or DLC, something a bit like this, out of the skip. So the 486, I sold it and I got good money for it, maybe about £150. These ones, I've looked on eBay and it looks like people are asking for them anywhere like £150 to £200. But then, and that's working. I mean, I don't know what condition this is. We'll come to that in a minute. But then I looked like in like sold items, and I found 2 or 3 that have sold in the last since about October, November to now, in auction, and they fetched about 100. So it looks like if you stick them in auction and just let them go, they'll fetch about 100 quid. But then I could see some that had sold in the 150 to 200. And the ones that are sold have come to from, I won't say strange places, but I think you can forgive me if I can say like out of the way places. So they were from like Uzbekistan and some eastern states like that. Some were from Russia as well. So it seems that if you're going to find these things, probably the place you're going to find them is in some backwater. And hey, this is the Canary Islands, yeah. And strangely enough, this is like up the backwater of Europe. So yeah, there you go. I found one. Okay, condition. I know with these, the main problem is that this battery, which is effectively the CMOS battery, all leaks out over the board and it all goes green and horrible, and it can cause quite a lot of damage. This one appears only to have some corrosion on these jumpers and just under his head. So I'm going to take this off the board, take this jumper off, clean this up. Copyright 1989. Okay, 1989. But underneath is a sticker which suggests this was sold in 1993. That's my best thing of that. This is 1993. In which case, it's probably one of the last of the 386s, because really around that time and maybe a little bit later we moved to 486s. Again, I'm not an expert. I just remember the computer shop I had. So this is probably one of the latter 386s. I'm not quite sure when really the 486s. Certainly by about 96, 95, 96, 486s were becoming the thing. And Pentiums came not much after that, actually. Maybe around then even, thinking about it. Yeah, I think, yeah. Pentiums were out in 95. Okay, so I've waffled too much. So first of all, we'll check this battery, but I don't think for one moment it's going to be any voltage in it. But let's have a look. I'm pretty sure these weren't rechargeable. I think they were just replaceable. Again, it's such a long time ago that I was working on this stuff. Okay, well, there's no voltage in it to speak of. So let's get the battery off the board and then let's have a look at the corrosion. I've desoldered the battery. Let's have a look for these, actually. This is GP. Focus, right? I can tell you what it is. Or maybe I just focus it and you can see what it is, yeah. This is hard to find, I would say. I mean, there you go. So it's a GP60B, I think that is. GP60BNKX3, 3.6 volt, 60 milliamp hour, and I don't seem able to find them. I suspect you could probably put like a 3.7 volt lithium ion or something battery in here. And I don't think these were rechargeable. Anyway, so there's some green gunk on this. And just mention, by the way, a couple of things. This came with all the, this is how all the plastics were still in this, yeah, so it looks like this has just been taken out of a case and nothing else has been done with it. Yeah, there's another sticker down here which also says 1993, so that gives us an idea exactly when this is from. How much did I pay for it? Well, I picked his up and said, you know, precio esto, por favor, and he said €3. And I said, no, más barato, €2. And he's not having it, so I'm offering him, no, less, €2. And I'm offering him €2. And he says, no, 3. So I said, vale, venga. I like venga, that's a Spanish word. It kind of means like, okay, I go, but like in this case, okay, I'll take it. Yeah, ballet is okay. Venga, okay, I'll take it. So he ripped me off for the vast sum of €3. And I was not too dismayed at that, to be quite honest. I had a very strong suspicion. I'm just finding a bit of isopropyl while we talk. I had a very strong suspicion this is worth considerably more than that, so there we go. And I think even if it's not working, it's worth more than that. This thing might be worth €3 once I know what it is. So yeah. And the CPU, I mean, I'm assuming here either the CPU or the board is going to work, yeah. And the CPU is socketed. This is on a socket, so I haven't looked at the prices, but I'm strong. I'm certain. I'm 100% sure that if either the board or the CPU is good, it's worth more than €3. I'm also 100% sure that even if it's not working and I can't get it working due to some parts I can't get, it's worth more than €3 because there's probably a lot of good stuff on this for other people who are into this stuff. Yeah, can we get that for? No, that's well seized on. That is well seized on there. Does not want to come off without breaking something. Can we get it off? So there we go. No, that most certainly does not want to give that up. Doesn't want to give it up. Well, it's got to give it up. Let's see, shall we? Let's see if we can persuade this to come off here without damaging. I mean, obviously I can stick another pin header on it. It's not a problem, but it's all original condition, yeah. Come on. Right, there we go. So we have that off the jumper, yeah, and it's nasty. Okay, so I think we can replace that. I'll see if I find another 1993 vintage one, yeah. Okay, gunk off that. And then the rest of it's in the keyboard socket, which is a 5-pin DIN. This is before PS2. So let's see if we can just get that out of there as well. Yeah, it's coming out. Strange how that stuff kind of crept up into here, even though it's not in contact with the battery, yeah, and you can't see anything in between. You think, like, is it like airborne or something? How does it get up into there, you know? How does the corrosion actually get up into there? Whatever it is, it's very green, so I'm going to say it's some sort of copper compound, yeah, some sort of compound of copper reacted with whatever was in that battery, or was in there originally. It isn't in there now, yeah. Okay, well, I think that socket's actually going to be functional. So, can we test it? Well, the first thing I noticed before testing it is that this doesn't look to be in good condition underneath the battery, yeah, so I think it's fairly obvious that there's a track coming from the positive terminal down to here. It's a 22 ohm resistor, and this has external battery, and then from here goes off up to this diode here. So I'm thinking, we'll just, you can hear it. Let's get the bleeper, yeah? You can hear that, yeah? Yeah, you can hear it. Right, so, looks like this end of this diode goes, or should go, to one of these pins, and it doesn't. But I think that's like what I'm seeing there. It's kind of like where the track should go. This. I'd have to unsolder this to be sure, but it looks like it goes behind here. This looks a bit corroded here as well. I mean, it might even have taken the tracks off the board in this area. So there could be a problem down here regarding the battery. This one, that does go to there, so that track's intact. So that goes to there. 22 ohms, does this actually go into it? Yeah, this goes to one of the two terminals where I removed the clip from. So does the other terminal go to here? Yeah, that end one goes to this diode up here. I'm sure if I either take that off the board or ask on Vogon's forum, or maybe somebody even on here will tell me what track's supposed to connect to where. So there's a problem there, but I'm going to try and test this without the battery. So thing is now, how do we test it? So this doesn't have any onboard video, onboard sound, or onboard anything else. Hard drive controller, floppy drive controller, nothing. This is just a motherboard. So to test this, we're going to need some kit. Yeah, the power supply is AT, not ATX. Now, it just so happens from the 486 that I sold, the motherboard, I basically got the motherboard, sound card, graphics card, I/O card for the hard drive and floppy, and an AT power supply, and I kept the AT power supply. So I've got a power supply for there. And then the other thing comes down to, as I mentioned, I found about 2.5 years ago or so, a 386 and the skip, and I kept it. So this, in fact, is my skip find, and it's working. So interesting. It has like a kind of an upside down case, so that the 5 1/4 and 3 1/2 inch slots are towards the bottom of it. It's got a 5 1/4 inch floppy, a 3 1/2 inch floppy, reset, turbo and power, and a little lock. Okay, and we can see inside this. The reason I kept this is A, because it's a bit heavy to transport it back to the UK where the market is. B, because the guys on Vogon's forum convinced me that this is a very nice bit of kit and will only increase in value. And C, because I thought it might be useful if I ever find anything else that needs this sort of cards to test it. So this is my machine. It's a Texas Instruments TX. In fact, I'll zoom it down. I'll show you what it is. So it's actually a Texas Instruments. This one, TX 486 DLC. This 486 DLC is kind of like a 386 on acid. Somebody once said, like a turbocharged 386, yeah, rather than a 486. It has the maths coprocessor in. Mine has 8 strips of RAM in, and it has a ISA graphics card. It has an ISA I/O card. If I can zoom it back out, you'll see it. There we go. Yeah, so it has an ISA graphics card, ISA I/O card for the floppy and hard drive, and it has an ISA sound card. Actually, sound card in there, I believe. Is that? Yeah. No, it's an ISA network adapter, which has an EEPROM socket on, which I'm told you can actually boot these machines from the EEPROM on here rather than the hard drive. I heard that on Vogon's. I've never tried it, but I was told that these type of I/O cards network I/O cards are very sought after, and all in all, this is a very nice machine and a rather rare survivor, and it works. The only thing missing actually factory, it doesn't have a hard drive, but I can boot it up into the BIOS, and I can boot it from a floppy, and it does work. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to take the graphics card out of this one and stick it on that other motherboard, and let's see if we can get it to power up. I have another AT power supply, so I don't need to take the one out of here. All I actually need to use out of this is just to borrow the VGA graphics card. So we'll just get it out of there. A little bit very stiff to get these things out, by the way. There you go. So there we have a nice video card, and we can now use this to test our other board. So this is an ISA power supply, ISA, AT power supply with the AT connector on. This came off 486. I sold everything else. The specs actually written on here that came with it, but I sold everything else, and I fixed this. I had to change some capacitors in it, and I did fix it. It does have a somewhat noisy fan, but that's not really a problem. I just kept it here as a test unit basically. So with these, you can easily put these connectors on the wrong way around. So the way you do it, and you have to be sure, is to put so all the black wires are together in the middle. Yeah, all the black wires together in the centre. So that's that. This is the graphics card we just borrowed from the other machine. So we stick this into here. I'm guessing we can put it into this first one. Quite a stiff fit, but it's in there. Yeah, let's connect a monitor to it, and let's see if we can actually get a picture out of this. So these AT machines didn't have like a soft start button. They just had a power switch basically, which switches the mains on or off. Yeah, so there was no start and shut down switch. It was just the on-off switch. So we switched that on. I'll just connect the power, and then we'll switch this on, and let's just see what it does. There's a connection for a speaker, so I'm going to put a little bleeper on this in case it decides to try and tell us anything with some bleeps. Put it on there, that's on, and that's ready to go as far as I can tell. Unless it's something I've forgotten about these old machines. So let's just switch it on and let's see what happens. Power's on, power supply's running. Oh, that sounded good, didn't it? That sounded promising. Go to VGA. I don't have a picture. Oh, I do have a picture. Oh, okay. Okay. So, there we go, guys. Yeah. Without going further into it, we can say this does actually work. Okay, so we know it works. So I'll remove this jumper so I can see what's going on underneath here, and see if I can figure out if there's any of these tracks that are completely missing or corroded away, and then I think it would be a good idea to actually just try a keyboard to see if the keyboard's working, because the corrosion around the socket. And if that's working, that's really everything I can probably do with this at the moment. I mean, floppy drive and hard drive access and that is all just down to I/O cards in this, so there's nothing on the board to test really apart from does it work and does the keyboard work. Okay, so let's see if we can get this off. So the way to do this is going to be use the vacuum desoldering tool, I think. And I can see actually on the back here as well, you can probably see there's a bit of corrosion around here. So let's get some isopropyl on this, if I can just find that. And yep, I have it. And let's try and clean this up a little bit. And then we'll remove this jumper, and I can see what's going on behind there. Hopefully by doing that, I can actually see which tracks actually should go where, and I can get the test meter and just prove that we actually have some good continuity. The only other matters I mentioned earlier is what type of battery can I fit in this. Well, I've noticed this jumper says external battery, so I'm kind of guessing I could maybe just connect like a, a normal CMOS type battery or something on a little connector. So I'm not totally familiar with the stuff of this age now, but yeah, let's get this off here and then let's have it to see what we've got. So I'm going to try this just with some flux. I can see the 4 pins that go to the little jumpers. If this breaks, I can just stick another one on. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. I've got some pin headers. So it may be that actually it might just be a matter of if I may just pull these pins out actually, rather than trying to get us off in one go. I think it might be a good idea just to maybe just push them through and pull them out individually. So we'll try this. We'll get the soldering iron and let's give it a go. Okay, so I've just got a bit of solder on it. I'll just try and get a bit more. I think to get this out, so first of all, we'll try getting some solder in. I'll try with the vacuum tool to see whether or not I can actually desolder this. Otherwise, as I mentioned, the pins are going to come out separately. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a pin header. We're more interested in the actual the motherboard, yeah. Look, I can try. Okay, let's give it a go. Yeah, that looks like it's unsoldered. Yeah, looks like he's doing a pretty good job of it, that's for sure. Okay. One more. Right, let's try that. So let's see if this will actually. Yeah, it's not come loose. I can see that it's not actually loose yet. So I think what I'll actually do is now I'm actually gonna. You can't see it, can you? It's not loose. Yeah. So I think now I'm actually going to remove the pins individually. And then we can see what was going on behind it. So I'll just get hold of the first pin and let's see if I can actually pull that out. A bit awkward of course, but it's underneath and I'm on top, yeah. getting a grip on it's not the easiest thing. Okay, might actually be an idea. Let's get into shot. Just slightly bend it. I've got a grip of it now. I've got a grip on it. Get where we can see, and I'll do this one, and then I'll pause the video once we've got one of them out, and then we can go from there. No, that's not doing it either. Let's try a slightly different technique. We'll use to, yeah, push it down. Yeah, right. We get in there, guys. We get in there. Got some heat and push it in. Yeah, heat and push it in. We get in there, guys. This last one must be the ground plane because it's taking a while to warm up. Okay. They now still not going to give it up. Okay. Once again, get hold of the pin. Right. If this doesn't work now, I'll add some more fresh solder. Ah, okay. It did work. It worked nicely. I mean, to be quite honest, I can pull these out and then stick them back into the plastic and put them back on if I wanted, yeah. It's off. It's off, and it's off nicely, so it's not done any damage to the board, yeah. Okay, now I can clean this up at last, and let's have a look to see which tracks actually go where. Okay, so we can see quite a lot more clearly now what's what with this. So, looking at it, this pin here clearly goes down to the end of this resistor here, I'm pretty sure. So this resistor here should go to here, and it does. So that track, although it looks a little bit corroded here, it's good. We have a good track. Top end of this here goes to here, or it should do. I was always going to it. Okay, so we have a bit of blue stuff on, but it's there. Can I actually get that stuff off? Let me have a go. I don't really know. Let me see if I can just look down the microscope and can I actually get this blue. Yeah, I can scrape it off. I can scrape that off and then maybe just put a bit of clear lacquer on the board just to protect the track. So that obviously goes to this end of the battery. Yeah, that's quite clean. Okay, so once again, just get my glasses. We have connection from here to here. Okay. This top pin here quite clearly goes to here. And again, yes, it does. So I think with this one, once again, if I just look down the microscope to make life easier, this again just wants a bit of a clean up to get this horrible stuff out. I mean, it's possible this stuff is still, effectively still corrosive, and probably a good idea to actually get it off the track, and then again cover a bit of lacquer or something. So that's coming quite clean there. I'll just look down at this bit. Yeah. Just brush that off. One moment, phone call. Okay, that has most of that off there. So again, we can just check from the top of this diode to this point. Yeah, we have. Then it looks like this third one down goes up this one to a via here. And do I actually have any continuity? This one looks like I may not have. I kind of have a connection to there. Again, it's going to be easier if I just look down the microscope rather than try to look at the screen. So from here, do we have a connection up to here? And the question is, if I just scrape off some of this stuff, is it connected? I have a connection down there. I have a connection as far as there. Yeah, it looks like I probably do. Let me see this up. Yeah, there I have a connection. So it looks like I actually, again, by scraping off some of this nasty stuff, let's see if I actually have a connection as far as this via. Okay. As you see, guys, this is not nice stuff to work with. Yeah. Okay. Again, just brush off the what's left of that. And again, let's go. So from the third pin, if I just get a connection, yeah, we have it. Okay, we have it. I think it's just all just, yeah, we've got it. Okay, so we have a connection as far as there. Now then, does that go through to the other side of the board? Let's have a look. So I'm just trying to figure out where that via actually is. So it was the third pin down. Oh yeah, right. I can see it. It must come to here. So third pin down. Let's just zoom out a little bit if we can. No, we can't. So third pin down. This one should go up into here. Yeah, we have it. And then that effectively runs along. Yeah. So we have all the connections there. The fourth pin on here doesn't appear to go anywhere. That's this one, yeah. So that doesn't appear to go anywhere. So I think really the best thing with this is probably just to coat this over with a bit of like clear nail varnish or something. I'm sure one of you guys can tell me the best thing to put on this. And then, yeah, I mean, all the connections are there, so electrically it's good, yeah. It's just how best to make it look better. Okay, so that's okay. So I can put the jumper back on there. I'll do that, and then let's power this up once again, and let's actually see if the keyboard's working. All the circuit traces test out okay then, so I'll just put some new pin header on here, and then once I've done that, I'll get a keyboard, and let's just make sure that the keyboard connector is working. If that works, then really it's just a matter of, with this one, I think, of finding out what sort of battery I can fit as a replacement, and all's done and all's good. Ready to sell, basically. So put a new pin header in there, it looks great, yeah, and just solder that into place, which I'll try and do without actually burning my fingers. So I kind of like hold one end of it and try and solder the other end. That seems to be the best bet here. So this should be quite simple to do. Just need 3 hands, that's all. Still, we'll manage with 2, yeah, we'll manage with what we have. Okay, well, it's one end in place, so hopefully now I can just check that's actually setting flat, which it is, and it's just going to be quite a simple matter to solder the other ones, put the jumper back on, and then we'll get a keyboard, we'll get the AT power supply and the graphics card again. We'll just make sure that I can actually get into the BIOS on this, yeah. Oh, well, here I am, guys. I wondered where that camera was actually pointing. Okay, so that's on there. I have some jumper. So let's power this up one more time, and let's just this time see if we can actually get into the BIOS with the keyboard. I don't have an AT keyboard. So to test this, I'm going to use a PS2 keyboard with a little PS2 to AT adapter. Actually, I see AT keyboards quite often at the car boot sale, so perhaps I ought to just grab one next time I'm down there. Okay, so it fits. So we have once again power on the board. We have the graphics card. We need the VGA lead. Just get this one moment. You can see it was trapped behind the camera, so everything's gone all pear-shaped. There you go. Okay, so 180 lead on there. Power supply is connected, all the backs to the middle. We need a power lead, which is going to be amongst this stuff somewhere. Okay. I believe the switch is set to on, so we can just power this up, and let's see what it does now. So again, I hope it's going to bleep. I don't have a bleeper on, that would help if I connected the bleeper to it. Let's just see if I get a picture. Got a monitor on. And do we have something? Yeah, we have something. Okay, let's just have a slightly dodgy connection on the VGA. There we go. Okay, so we have something on the screen, so it's just asking me to press F1 to resume, so we'll just try that. Yeah, keyboard's working. There we go. So very colourful BIOS on this. Let's have a look at that screen out of interest. Yeah, there we go. So that's quite colourful. 1992 BIOS. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so we can say then that this is actually working now. It's quite a nice motherboard, really. Considering the cost of this, €3, and the value of it, I think this is well worth repairing. I'm sure I'll get a very decent profit from it when I put it onto eBay. I just need now to work out what to do about the battery, and then this one's ready to go. I don't believe I need to test this any further because the hard drive, floppy drive, and all that stuff is on add-on cards. This effectively is just a motherboard without any sort of, different from the ones we have these days. Yeah, there we have it then. Yeah, nice little job. Hope you enjoyed that, something a little bit different, and I'll see you all on the next one very soon. Okay. Adios, chicos.